In our hyper-connected world, we have become masters of the invisible handshake. With a tap, we share a photo. With a glance, we unlock our devices. We exist in a constant, silent conversation with the technology around us. And perhaps no feature is more symbolic of this effortless connection than AirDrop. It's a small miracle of proximity. A digital bridge that appears out of thin air, connecting you to the person standing next to you. We use it to share memories, contact information, funny pictures. We see it as a private direct line, a harmless convenience. But what if that bridge could carry an intruder? What if accepting a simple, funny picture from a stranger in a crowd was the digital equivalent of handing over the key to your front door, your safe, and your entire life? Today we tell the story of Alex, a young man who, in the middle of a loud, joyful music festival, accepted an AirDrop from someone he couldn't see. He thought he was getting a meme. In reality, he was receiving a ghost. A silent piece of code that would live inside his phone, watching, waiting, and preparing to dismantle his world from the inside out. This is the story of the silent intruder. Alex lived and breathed design. At 28, he was a UI/UX designer in New York City, and his iPhone was less a phone and more an extension of his own mind. He appreciated clean interfaces, intuitive functionality, and seamless technology. AirDrop to him was a perfect piece of design, simple, effective, almost magical. It was a sweltering Saturday in July, and Alex was with his friends at Metrofest, the city's biggest summer music festival. The air was thick with the smell of food trucks, the roar of the crowd, and the thumping bass of the band on the main stage. It was a sensory overload in the best possible way. Alex was in his element, taking photos, recording video clips of the artists, and soaking in the vibrant chaos. His phone buzzed in his hand, not with a text, but with the distinct notification of an AirDrop request. The preview showed a clever, well-designed meme. It was an image of a cartoon character sweating profusely with the caption, "My bank account looking at the price of water at this festival." The sender's device name was generic, iPhone. In that moment, several factors conspired against Alex's better judgment. The music was loud. His friends were shouting something in his ear. The meme was genuinely funny and relatable. He was in a crowd of thousands of people who were all sharing this experience. The request felt less like it was from a stranger and more like it was from a fellow festival goer, a small, anonymous act of communal humor. Without a second thought, his thumb moved on pure instinct. He tapped accept, the image saved to his photo gallery. He chuckled, showed it to his friends who also laughed, and then the next song started and the moment was completely forgotten. A single, insignificant event in a day full of them. This was the moment of infection. The image file itself was not the weapon. It was the delivery vehicle. Embedded within the data of that seemingly harmless JPEG was a payload, a tiny malicious piece of code designed to exploit a zero-day vulnerability. A zero-day is a software flaw that is unknown to the company that made it, in this case Apple. It's a secret backdoor that hasn't been discovered and therefore hasn't been patched. Hackers and intelligence agencies will pay hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars for these exploits. And one of them had just been delivered directly into the heart of Alex's phone. The act of accepting and processing the image was all it took. The code executed silently, invisibly installing a sophisticated piece of spyware deep within the phone's operating system. It left no icon, no trace of its existence. The digital ghost had just moved in. For the next month, Alex's life was completely normal. His phone worked perfectly. The battery life was the same. There were no strange pop-ups or odd behavior. He had no reason to suspect a thing. But the silent intruder was hard at work. It wasn't a crude piece of malware. It was a patient intelligence-gathering tool. Its goal was not to be loud. Its goal was to be invisible, to learn everything there was to know about its new host. Asterisk. It had access to his microphone. It would activate during specific moments, flagged by keywords. When he was on the phone with his bank's automated service and spoke his account number. When he was on a FaceTime call with his parents and mentioned an upcoming financial decision. Asterisk. It had access to his camera. Once or twice a day, it would silently snap a photo from the front-facing camera, capturing his face at different angles, building a biometric profile. Asterisk. It had access to his saved photos. It didn't steal them all. Instead, it used image recognition to scan for specific things. The corner of a passport, The text of a driver's license, the details on a tax document he had photographed for his records. Asterisk, most devastatingly, it had the ability to intercept and suppress notifications and text messages. It could read an incoming SMS verification code, forward it to the attacker, and then delete the original message before it ever appeared on Alex's screen. This was the master key. It rendered two-factor authentication, the gold standard of security, completely useless. The spyware was methodically collecting the puzzle pieces of Alex's identity. It knew his mother's maiden name from a scanned document, his social security number from a tax form, his bank account number from a phone call, his face from his camera, and it had the ability to steal the final verification codes needed to bypass any security. The attacker wasn't just a hacker anymore. For all digital intents and purposes, they were Alex. The attack was executed with cold, swift precision on a Friday evening, exactly 1 month after the festival. Alex was at a restaurant with friends, his phone sitting on the table beside him. The first step was the email takeover. The scammer went to his email provider's website and initiated a password reset. When the system sent a verification code to Alex's phone number, the spyware intercepted it, forwarded it, and deleted it. Alex's phone never made a sound. The scammer entered the code, changed the password, and in an instant, Alex was locked out of his own digital command center. With control of his email, the cascade began. They logged into his primary bank account. They had the username and password from the spyware's keylogging function. When the bank sent a 2FA code, it was intercepted. Once inside, they didn't do a single, large, suspicious transfer. They initiated a wire transfer for $9,500, just under the $10,000 threshold that often requires additional verification. Then, they went to his social media. They logged into his Instagram and sent messages to his close friends, the ones the spyware had identified as frequent contacts. The message was simple and believable. "Hey! In a bit of a jam, my banking app is down. Could you possibly Zelle me $500? I'll pay you back first thing tomorrow morning." 2 of his friends, thinking nothing of it, sent the money instantly. The final, most audacious step was to use the trove of personal documents they had stolen. They went to a website for a high-interest online lender and applied for a $7,000 personal loan, in Alex's name, with his social security number, his address, and a digital image of his driver's license. The loan was approved in minutes, the money deposited into his account. The scammers immediately siphoned that money out as well. In the space of about 45 minutes, while Alex was laughing and eating pasta, a ghost in his machine had systematically liquidated his financial life and plunged him into debt. The discovery was banal. He reached for his phone to check an email. The app said, "Incorrect password." He tried again. The same. He tried to reset it, but the reset link was being sent to an email he could no longer access. A cold, metallic taste of fear filled his mouth. Then the notifications started to break through. Not the ones the spyware could suppress. An official email from his bank, sent to his now inaccessible account, but the subject line was visible on his lock screen. Fraud alert. Suspicious wire transfer. His heart stopped. He fumbled to open his banking app. Incorrect password. He was locked out of everything. The next few hours were a blur of frantic phone calls to fraud departments. Each conversation was a new layer of the nightmare. Yes, a wire transfer was confirmed. Yes, crypto was purchased. Yes, a loan was taken out in your name. With each yes, Alex felt a piece of his reality breaking away. But how? He kept asking, his voice cracking. I have two-factor authentication on everything. I'm so careful. He wouldn't understand the full scope of the violation for weeks, until a cybersecurity expert hired by his bank analyzed his phone and found the remnants of the sophisticated spyware. The expert traced its signature back to a known zero-day exploit, one that was often delivered via peer-to-peer file sharing. Did you accept any files from strangers recently? The expert asked. And Alex's mind flashed back to the festival. The roar of the crowd, the thumping bass, and the small funny meme from iPhone that he had accepted without a single thought. Alex's story is a terrifying illustration of how the most advanced cyber threats can be delivered through the simplest human actions. This wasn't a trick. It was a targeted military-grade attack hiding inside a Trojan horse made of convenience. Let's break down how this works and how you can defend yourself. First, the vector of attack, AirDrop, and similar features on other platforms, create a direct Wi-Fi connection between devices. This can sometimes bypass the normal firewalls and security checks that protect you when you re-browsing the internet. Scammers exploit this direct line. By embedding malicious code into a file, they can trigger a vulnerability when your phone's operating system tries to process and display that file. Second, the weapon, zero-day exploits. This is what makes this attack so insidious. Because it uses a brand new, unpatched vulnerability, your phone's built-in security doesn't even know to look for it. It's a key for a lock that Apple doesn't even know exists yet. How to build your fortress against the silent intruder. 1. Set AirDrop to contacts only. This is the most important step you can take. Go into your settings right now. Control Center, long press the Wi-Fi Bluetooth module. Greater than tap AirDrop, greater than select contacts only. This single action makes it impossible for a random stranger in a crowd to send you anything. Everyone is a setting of extreme risk. 2. Never accept a file from a stranger. I cannot say this enough. It doesn't matter if it's a photo, a document, or a contact card. If you do not know the person sending it, decline the request. It is never worth the risk. 3. Update your operating system immediately. Those annoying update notifications are your single best defense against these kinds of attacks. As soon as companies like Apple and Google discover a vulnerability, they rush to release a patch. Running an outdated OS is like leaving your front door wide open. 4. Use an authenticator app for 2FA. While not foolproof against a full device takeover, an authenticator app, like Google Authenticator or Authy, is more secure than SMS-based. 2FA. It doesn't rely on the cellular network and is harder for malware to intercept. 5. Be wary in crowds. The environment of a concert, an airport, or a crowded subway is a scammer's paradise. We are distracted, our guard is down, and we are physically close to countless strangers' devices. Be extra vigilant in these situations. The convenience of our digital lives comes with a hidden cost, an expanded attack surface for criminals. Alex's story wasn't his fault. He was the victim of a sophisticated criminal operation. But his experience is a critical warning for all of us. That innocent-looking request on your screen is an unknown quantity. It could be a friendly gesture, or it could be a ghost, waiting for you to open the door and let it in. Don't open the door for strangers. Not in the real world, and not on your phone. Thank you for listening to True Scam Stories. Stay safe and stay aware.